So as the year is drawing to a close now, what I wanted to do was take you through some of my favourite products that I have tried in 2022. A lot of the products on this list have been previously sent for review by some of the respective brands. However, what I didn't want to do in this video was limit myself to just the products that I've purchased myself this year, as it wouldn't really be giving you my actual favourites of the year. And it's also worth mentioning that there are a lot of products here that I haven't chosen on this list, but are still incredibly good products and I would really recommend. But I had to choose the ones that just particularly stood out for certain reasons. So starting with the first product, and that is this one. So this is Breaking Point by High Definition Detail, and it is their wheel and tyre cleaner. Now there are a few reasons why I've selected this as my favourite for this year. Firstly, I think it is incredibly good value for money. It's one of the least expensive wheel cleaners I've tried this year in terms of cost per mil, and when you factor in that it can be diluted all the way down to about 1 in 10 and still get really good cleaning power and sort of foaminess out of it, I do think it's a very good product. Now the sweet spot for me with this one is around 20%, because I think that's when you balance the sort of user experience with the value for money. I also find it to be incredibly potent on tyres, which you don't always get with products like this. So it really does kind of streamline the process when you can just use one product, and it just speeds things up. So in terms of formulation, this is a gel-based wheel cleaner, so it does have the added benefit of a really long sort of dwell time, as it just can kind of cling to the wheels without drying out. That's particularly useful when I'm using the product in the warmer weather as well. Next up, onto the pre-washes. Now there was one particular citrus pre-wash this year that really did stand out to me, and it is this one by Mile Deep. It's called Release, and again it offers really good value for money because you can dilute it all the way down to around 10% and still get good cleaning ability for sort of a maintenance wash. On really grubby vehicles that I've tried it on, it works really well at about 1 in 4. And it easily kind of strips off that grime of cars that are particularly dirty and don't have any protection on them either, which isn't that easy to do. I've tried this quite a number of times on a few different cars as well as my own, and it's never let me down, so I think this is a really sort of capable pre-wash to go for. So now onto snow foams, and I have to admit I did cheat a little bit in this category and I had to go with 2 because I just really couldn't choose my favourite out of them. And the 2 that I have chosen are Squid Ink Alka Froth and also the Garage Therapy Snow Foam, and that is the version 2 of the product specifically. Now both these products are very good cleaners, which is what I really sort of look for in most of the snow foams I'm using. Yeah, a lot of the time I will use a pH neutral snow foam and layer it on top of the citrus, but I also do like using a snow foam that's just capable of being used entirely on its own on maybe a well maintained or protected vehicle, and just getting rid of all that sort of traffic film, making it safe for the contact wash. What I really like about the Squid Ink one is that it combines that cleaning ability with a really good dwell time. You can easily get sort of 10 to 15 minutes on an average day out of this product, so it just gives me plenty of time to either sort of clean up my wheel buckets or fill up my buckets for the contact wash without kind of having to rush around. And it's also very useful if the weather's a bit warmer as well, because there's less risk of it actually drying out on the panels. Now the Garage Therapy one, although it doesn't have as long a dwell time as the Squid Ink one, usually around 5 minutes on an average day is what I get on this product. But what I really like about it is that it does contain rust inhibitors, and for someone who plans on keeping the car for a decent amount of time, it's useful to kind of have that element in there, and it's good that Garage Therapy have thought to do that, and I do really appreciate it. Next up is the contact wash, and the favourite shampoo of this year for me is the Garage Therapy 1 car shampoo. Now this again is actually version 2 of the product, but it was released in the previous year. It works incredibly well with my preferred contact wash method, which is to actually apply it in a foam once to the entire car and then go ahead and use sort of a 2 bucket method as you would usually, as I find that getting as much of that shampoo onto the car just really helps to keep it kind of lubricated and just feels as safe as possible, and it is actually the only way that I contact wash my car anymore. It does still work very well in the bucket though if that's your preferred method, and around sort of 10 to 15 ml is enough for this product. You really don't actually need any more of it. So it's worth noting as well that this is a pH neutral and pure shampoo, which is my preferred sort of shampoo for regular maintenance washes, as it doesn't contain any protection or gloss enhancing agents that might otherwise clog up your existing protection. Now this does lead me nicely onto the protection products that I have chosen as my favourites for this year. Now I do have to say that this was probably the hardest category for me to choose, as I've tried some really excellent waxes and sealants throughout the year that could have easily made it onto this list. However, I've chosen a couple that did particularly stand out to me. So the first one is this, and this is Ortoglan's Prism. Now the reason I've chosen this is primarily because I find it a really sort of easy product to use. So you can actually use this as either a spray and rinse sealant, or you can use it as a regular sort of spray sealant. Either option is very easy, and I've tried using the spray sealant method in warm conditions and humid conditions, and haven't had any issues in either situation. My favourite thing to do is use it as a spray and rinse sealant on the wheels, as that just allows me to quickly add some protection, and then to use it as a regular spray sealant on the paintwork, as I do think that's how you get the most out of it. I've tried this on a number of cars now, and durability wise on a daily driven vehicle it's about 2 to 3 months, so it's nothing amazing in that aspect, but the fact that it's just so easy to top up is what I like about it. On the alloys you're looking at around a month, which is probably quite typical of most spray and rinse sealants that I've tried. Now you can tell from the bottle that I have used a lot of this product, and it's not because you need a lot per application, because you really don't, but it's a good indication that I do really like it, because I am fortunate to have a lot of wax and sealants that I can choose from, and the fact that I keep reaching for this one is only a good sign. So in terms of waxes, again quite difficult to choose here, but there was one that did really stand out for me, and it is this one, and this is G3 Pro's Super Gloss Paste Wax. Now what I really liked about this one again was just that it's so incredibly easy to use, and I do think it is probably the easiest wax that I have ever used. It comes with an applicator that's just really nice and soft and good quality, and it spreads really easily so you can get around a car quite quickly, and then in terms of buffing off, just a single swipe is totally fine. It's just so easy and effortless, and that's sort of the main thing I look for with a wax. Now in terms of the finish, it does add some noticeable gloss and a lot of slickness, and I noticed that on a car that I had actually just corrected, it added even more gloss, which is quite a difficult thing for a product to do. The only drawback is that it's not particularly durable, so around 1 to 2 months on a daily driven vehicle is what I've experienced. However, it's just such a joy to use that topping it up really just isn't a problem, and it's probably a product that you would use more on special occasions when you just want that kind of boost to the finish. So I didn't want to forget about the glass here, and I've got a couple of products and they're both by Soft99, and it's these two. So first of all, we've got Ultra Glaco, which is the longest lasting Glaco coating that they have in the range, so it's supposed to last about 12 months. Now I haven't tried it for a full 12 months, but I have put it on a car that's daily driven and it's driven a lot, and it is at the 5-month mark and still looking really good, so I do think that maybe we'll get close to that. What I found about this is that it is particularly resistant to wipers, which is usually the issue with a lot of glass products out there. So I think if you're looking for something durable, this is an excellent option. Also is very easy to apply. It's got a built-in applicator that you can use to just spread it in a crosshatch pattern, wait around 10 minutes and buff it off, and I've never had any issues with the application process. Now the second product is this Glaco De Cleaner. Now this is a water repellent glass cleaner, and as a standalone product you're looking at around 3 weeks of durability, which isn't of course anything to write home about, but what's excellent about this is that it just seems to keep existing protection going for as long as possible, where usually you would expect it to die off. So I found by applying this every couple of weeks you can kind of keep the glass protection just going indefinitely, which is very good, as sort of applying a coating and preparing it is a bit of a faff and it does take a bit of time, so this just helps to reduce the frequency that you'd need to do that. I've used it in all kinds of conditions again and never had any issues with it sort of streaking or smearing. I've also used this on top of coatings by different brands and it's never caused any issues, so I think kind of whatever products you've already got on there, this is a really good option to look at to maintain it. Now the next product on my list is the Permanent Trim Restorer by G-Technic. I've had this on my car for around 9 to 10 months and it's still looking really good and keeping the trim looking fresh. And I do really like this kind of product because you don't have to worry about it running in the rain or having to reapply it every single wash. Now the application for this product is really straightforward. As long as you do a decent bit of prep, I think you can expect good durability out of this. It's supposed to last around 12 to 24 months, so I'm obviously going to keep monitoring that and seeing how I get on, but I'd be more than happy to buy this again once I notice the trim start to fade. I'm not going to give any prizes for guessing what wins my favourite tyre product of the year, and it is this one. So this is the Garage Therapy Tyre Serum. Now when I first tried this product, it didn't completely blow me away. I thought the application process was straightforward and that it left a really nice satin finish, but it didn't kind of change the game at that point. But when I actually started to use this more frequently on every single wash, I noticed that the protection really built up to the point where you can skip applying a tyre dressing 1 week and the tyres just look like they've been dressed anyway. It really does help to keep them clean, and it also just helps to really keep the sidewall in good condition, which is a property that a lot of dressings just don't really focus on. So now for an interior product, and it's this one. So this is Soft99's Wash Mist. Now this isn't going to suit absolutely everyone. If you're dealing with really dirty interiors week in, week out, then this probably isn't going to be the product for you. However, if you're just sort of maintaining your own car, then this is a really good option to look at, and it's what I use on my own car most frequently. It's really good on all surfaces and doesn't leave any residue behind. The focus isn't on sort of super strong cleaning abilities, but just on leaving a nice fresh kind of finish, which if you keep your interior relatively clean is probably what you're going to be looking for. The scent of it is nice and fresh but not overwhelming, so it doesn't hit you in the face as soon as you get in the car, and if you want to use a different air freshener it's not going to kind of interfere with that and smell weird. And again, this wins the category because I find myself reaching for it more and more, and I just think it's exactly kind of the products that I like to use on my interior. Now, if you are looking for my recommendations on other kind of products and accessories and things like that, then I will leave a link in the description to my website, which has a recommended products page that I keep up to date as frequently as I can, and that has all kind of the brushes, pressure washer stuff, decontamination, correction, all that kind of stuff on there as well. If you have enjoyed this video, it'd be brilliant if you could drop it a like, and thanks very much for watching.